everyone, Lauren from A Girl and Her Wool here. Today is the final shop update at agirlandherwool.com. This is by far the largest shop update I have ever done. So I have a lot of yarn to show. I'm going to go through some of it. I won't go through all of it because honestly there's just so much. But you can shop for it at 10 o'clock Eastern time, probably very close to when this video is going up, so hopefully you get a little preview. But you can shop at agirlandherwool.com. Again, this is the last update, so there will not be any more yarn after this update. Not 100% sure when everything will come down, but I'll talk about the logistics of it at the end. For now, let's just quickly run through what will be in the shop because there will be a lot of it. There really should be something for everyone. I did things kind of across the board, so I'm excited to show you everything. First up, I have a lot of good tonals, and I'm going to show first, and then as we see more of the variegated skeins, you'll kind of see colors that kind of pair. I'm not going to show a ton of pairings, but just kind of keep them in mind. I just don't have the time to run through all the pairings, but if you have any questions, you can definitely email me, Lauren at agirlandherwool.com, if you have any questions. So the first is this light tonal gray. Then there is a dark tonal gray. All of these tonals that I'm going to show you are available on my sock base only. Everything, unless otherwise specified, are 100 gram skeins. This is a chocolate brown. And you can check all of the listing photos too. I have dark navy and I have everyday beige. So again, some good contrast tonals that will work well with some of these other variegated skeins that will be in the shop, or you might have some of my sock base already in stock. Okay, next we have some brighter colors. So we have a bright blue. This is kind of like a very bright blue, not like royal blue. It's more like ocean blue. I have a bright yellow. Again, it's much brighter than I think what you're seeing. It's a bright yellow. It's not a butter yellow. It is a bright yellow. I have a brightest purple. So in the listing, I called it bright purple. It's definitely a dark purple, but it's got like a bright aspect to it. So if you took a bright purple and toned it down, but it's not like a muted dark purple like a navy is, right? Like it's definitely a bright purple aspect, but you can see in terms of like tones, it's similar to this dark navy, but it's got that bright purple aspect to it. So that's why I called it that, just FYI. Lastly, for the tonals, I have this brick blush. So this is almost like a brick red that's just very light. It has a blush aspect to it. I absolutely love this one. And then this is a khaki green, so kind of some more muted tonal colors. Hi everyone, coming back in to say two things. So one here, and then there will be another cut at the end. I butchered all of the colorway names, so make sure you keep an eye for the titles. If you are curious what the names are, whatever I say out loud is probably wrong because I remembered them all wrong. I did this at midnight and named them at midnight and apparently don't remember them now at 8 o'clock in the morning. Getting into the variegated ones, this is a color, can't remember what I called it. Oh, peppermint mocha. So it's got some of that bright kind of aqua and some reddish and brown tones. I also have, so this is available single skeins, but I also have it available in a 2 skein set. So I'll put up a photo of that here because I don't think I brought the contrast. The contrast is a really deep burgundy brown, so it brought out a lot of the red and the brown in it. So a really cool 2 skein set. And lastly, for the sock base, I have these very variegated bright skeins. So a lot of those bright tonal colors would pair really, really well with this. So if you are into the brights, I know we're going into winter, but if you need a little bit of bright, those work really well. But there's so many colors in here that I thought it would work well to pair with a lot of different things. Yeah, so then lastly for sock base, I also have some sock blanks. Okay, so here is the first sock blank. If I named it, I will put it up there. So kind of a darker but colorful one. Absolutely love this one. And then the other style that I dyed up is more of a reddish color with some browns. If you have never used a sock blank, I will link a video I did about them down below. Basically how they work is, I'll do this one that already kind of started unraveling, is it's a knit fabric. I dyed it as a knit fabric, and so when you work with it, you can just pull the sock blank as you knit with it, so you don't have to wind it into a ball or anything like that. You can just work off the sock blank. And what's really cool is because your gauge will be different than how this was knit up, it will kind of jumble the design into a really cool pattern, and you'll kind of get to see it as you work with it. You don't have to make socks, it's just my fingering weight base, so you can make anything with it, a shawl, accessories, whatever you want. If you don't like working off a sock blank, or you don't like working with kinked yarn, you can wind it into a skein. If you don't have a skein winder, you can wrap it around a chair or someone's hands or whatever it is you want to do, tie it, and then soak it, and it'll come out like a completely normal skein, and then you can work from it normally. So definitely check those out as well. Okay, so then moving on to the DK base, I don't have much of this. I was out of it. So what I have here are, I think I just actually have one thing. I have some one-of-a-kinds that will also be in the shop. So again, I'm not showing everything here. What I'm showing is really what I've been dyeing up, but there's a ton of stuff that I had in my like over dye pile, or if it was set aside for some other reason, that I'm just putting back in the shop. So I think specifically on DK, there might even be like a larger quantity. So maybe if you want to make a DK sweater out of my Pinot Noir or Rose Tea colorway, I forget which one it is, but that will be in the shop as well. There's also some random one-of-a-kinds that I had on DK too that I think I was going to use for mystery minis for the advents and such, and didn't use them, so they're going back in the shop. So the color I called peppermint mocha earlier was not peppermint mocha. I will have had the right name up in the logo. This one is what I called peppermint mocha. So this is just a one-of-a-kind, basically 100-gram skeins of DK. So that is the only kind of like new thing for DK that's hitting the shop, other than those one-of-a-kinds that I mentioned. All right, so a lot of what's going into the shop is my sport base, which is a 3-ply yarn that is superwash merino nylon. It is the softest. I think it's even softer than the sock base, even though it's similar. The way that it's twisted and the 3-ply that it is, it's just so squishy and bouncy. I am working on a sweater out of this base, and I wish I had done more with it because I never offered it ready to ship, and so I don't think many people really purchase it, which is why I have a lot dyed up of it. But I wish I used it more. So like if my sock base is a little too thin for you, but DK weight socks are too much, definitely check out this sport base. It's really nice. When I was dyeing with it, I was just so excited about it. So definitely recommend that for socks. To me, they feel like almost like the perfect weight for socks, where the fingering weight is a little too thin. This is really like the perfect, like, keep your toes warm kind of sock. So I have a lot available. I'll talk about it in a second, what I did, but let's just kind of run through the colors. So what I did was I dyed, again, because I had a lot of it, I decided to dye a few colors in larger quantities. That way, if, the amount that's available is equivalent to a sweater quantity for you, you could do that. They aren't available in batches, they're available as skeins. So if, I think for a lot of these I dyed up 6 skeins. So I realize that might not be a sweater quantity for everyone, but if that's enough skeins for a project you want to do, just get into the shop as early as possible to make sure that they're all still there. But anyway, this one is firecrackers, so a lot of oranges, deep reds, and some browns. I think I called this one TBD. It was midnight when I was doing the listings and naming things, and I was just burnt out. So that is what that is called. That one's really pretty. It has different shades of like pinks, and then like darker grays and dark gray blue kind of color. This one has a lot of different greens. It's definitely like a green. Again, it's not necessarily showing perfectly. And then you can see it also has some of that bright blue in there too, to just bring it a little bright. Oh, this one I think is called Alley Walk or Street Light, something like that. I'll put the name up. This is a lot of browns, but it also has some pops of like a golden yellow, and then we have some of these like brownish, grayish. It's almost like a dark slate color, so bluish, grayish colors. This one might be my personal favorite of them. So again, those 4 colors, I have like 6 skeins in total of each. That may be a sweater quantity for you. It may be enough to make a large shawl, something like that. So that's in the shop. Okay, so then I also have this color. I have it available. Again, these are all the sport weight. So I have this one available as a single skein. I also have it available as a sock set with, and that last one that I showed, I have paired with kind of like a cranberry color. Again, it's showing up more red. I think it's more like a purpley, deep purple pink. This colorway is called Skate Park. This is actually on my worsted weight base, so we'll come back to this in a second, but it's in a 4-ply superwash merino only worsted weight base. This color just has a lot of bright pinks and purples and some greens. It honestly has all of the colors in it and has some black as well. Okay, so that's everything from the big bin. There's more that I'm gonna show. I just need to put this all back in the bin before it falls everywhere. All right, so there is more. You can see all this yarn behind me. So let's kind of talk about what I did there. I did something kind of fun, a little bit different, and I want to go through it. So for the worsted weight base and for the sport base, what I did was I dyed up 100 gram skeins as a gradient. So they are available individually, but I thought it was fun if you do want to do like, you know, maybe a 3 skein shawl set that might be a gradient. Maybe you want to pull some from there, or you can just buy them individually. So they're all in, so the worsted weight base is in a listing, the sport weight base is in a listing. And what I did was I kind of showed each color individually, so you can choose which color in the listing that you want. I'm not naming them individually, so they'll just be like from 1 to 10 and then 1 to 8 I think I have of worsted. And you'll be able to see them in the listing photos. So again, you can get like 1 through 3 or 2 through 4 or 1 through 5 if you want like colors that kind of go together but aren't exactly the same. So I thought that was fun to do. Again, I tried to do some like really different things in this update for like the last hurrah, but let me show you them first and then we'll talk about this gradient set here. So I'm going to kind of just show them 3 at a time here. So again, this is the sport base, so this will be color 1, so just a lot of blues and just bringing in some other colors that come out throughout the skeins. So color 2 gets less of the blues and more of like the darker colors and the oranges, and then color 3 again gets a little bit more. And then 4 starts, 4, 5, and 6, they start to get, less blue, more orange, and starts to bring in some reds and yellows and bright pink. Okay, so then 7, 8, 9 get away from the oranges and start going into these pinks and purples. And then just showing 9 again with 10. So again, it just gets kind of lighter and lighter as the gradient goes on. So you can check that out under one listing. They're available individually, but you could also pick up some in the set or the whole set, whatever it is you want. And now let me show you, the worsted weight version is pretty similar. I dyed them at the same time, so kind of similar. So again, 1, 2, 3 just has a lot of those bright blues and then into kind of some darker colors. I did less orange in the worsted weight, so then 4, 5, and 6 kind of get some of the pinks and some yellows and other random colors. 7 and 8 bring in the pinks and the purples. So lastly, I have one last gradient set. I've done so many gradient sets in the shop that it felt like I had to do one last one. This is available on 10 gram minis on sock and 20 gram minis on DK. There is construction outside, so you might hear that. So anyway, here is the gradient set, the final gradient set. So we start with kind of these blues, and kind of throughout all of it, there's kind of this like hint of red throughout it, but it starts with kind of these brighter blues, and then it goes into kind of some darker ones, into some little bit of greens with the pinks and reds, and then again kind of ends with some grays and reds. So you kind of have that red feel throughout it, but if you ignore that, it kind of goes from some blue into some greens and pinks, and then into like a little bit of deeper red and gray. So again, that's available on sock on 10 gram minis, which is what I showed, and then it's available on DK on 20 gram minis. So that is everything that I have to show. Again, there's other stuff in the shop as well. All right, so my second cut in for this video is to add that I forgot to mention that I also have mystery bags. So all of the mystery bags are 100 grams. They're all one base. So there are mystery bags for sock, DK, and BFL sock, and Pi is here. And so you will get either like 2 50 gram skeins, or maybe you get like a 50 and then some minis. Maybe they're all mystery minis. Maybe there's like a 70 gram skein and some mystery minis. So those are grab bags. The bags may or may not coordinate, like within one bag, the skeins may or may not coordinate with each other. Sometimes I pulled a 70 gram skein and just pulled random minis. Sometimes I tried to pair them. So it's hit or miss. But those are complete mysteries. You don't know what you get until you open it. So make sure you check those out if you love a good surprise. And thanks again. That were just like one-off skeins, so I didn't bring them up here. So definitely like go through everything. Everything you'll be able to shop by base, or you can just go through all yarn. So definitely check it out. In terms of logistics, again, I don't plan on putting these on a clearance sale at any point, so don't wait. I'm not sure exactly when I'm gonna take everything down officially. I'm assuming definitely by the end of the month. But if things are kind of going out quickly, I will probably just kind of cut it off at some point. When there's just like a little bit left, keep that for myself if I want to, and then just kind of like be done and not have to worry about it anymore. Everything will ship, 1 to 2 business days. If you ask me to wind your skein, that adds another couple days onto it. But everything will go out quickly, so definitely it would be a huge help to shop some kind of sooner rather than later, just to kind of help me move everything along. I have people interested in shipping supplies and stuff like that, so I want to get this wrapped up. I don't want to be doing this, forever, so I will have to cut it off at some point. So definitely shop sooner rather than later. When everything's gone, it's gone. And the other thing to mention is I will have the craft journal sticker kits available again until I close the shop. So if you want to pick those up for next year, every theme that I've ever done is up in the shop. If you want me to change a month out for another, I can do that. But you can pick up whatever you want before I close those out too. And yeah, just a huge thank you again. If you haven't watched my closing video, please do so. It's the last video that I posted. So mega thanks to everyone who has supported the shop over the years. If you shop today, or tell a friend, I don't know the post office deadlines. I didn't keep up with that date this year for when things need to arrive by Christmas, but I'm assuming there's still a couple of days left, so you can still get some gifts or Hanukkah gifts. That might be a little too close because I think Hanukkah starts the 18th, but that is it. So again, thanks so much. This was definitely the biggest shop update I've ever done. It's 8:35. I gotta get this video edited. I actually have to finish photographing and doing listings and all of that. So it will be, like usual, me creating listings at 9:59, but that's all right. So again, thanks so much. I will talk to you guys on the internet somewhere soon, and have a great weekend. Bye.